Complete story of Anti-Venom, Clintar, Earth 616. When Eddie Brock was debonded from the Venom symbiote, traces of it were left in his body. Later, suffering from cancer, Brock started working as a volunteer in the FEAST Center. Martin Lee, the alter ego of Mr. Negative, and founder of FEAST, used his powers to cure Eddie's cancer. In the process, he accidentally infused the remnants of the symbiote in Eddie's bloodstream with his power and fused them to his white blood cells, creating a new hybrid symbiote which manifested when the Venom symbiote attempted to leave its then current host and return to Eddie. This new symbiote had powerful healing powers and other powers that differ from the Venom symbiote, producing antibodies that can cure any known disease and remove any other impurities within a human body. Unlike other symbiotes, this symbiote is completely mindless and Eddie Brock is in full control of his actions. This symbiote was destroyed when it was used as a cure for the spider virus. Years later, Dr. Steven used elements of the anti-venom symbiote to create a new cure for the venom symbiote's toxic shock syndrome that could adapt alongside it. When high concentrations of this serum was exposed to the venom symbiote's biomass bonded to Flash Thompson, the anti-venom symbiote was artificially recreated. However, when Flash died at the hands of the Red Goblin, the replica died along with him. Powers. The symbiote can mimic any type of clothing whatsoever, as well as blending anti-venom in his surroundings, rendering him invisible. The symbiote has augmented all of its host's physical abilities to superhuman levels equal to, and in some cases greater than, Spider-Man's. Superhuman strength. Before the symbiote was created, Brock had conditioned himself to lift, press, 700 pounds. Once it was created, the symbiote added Spider-Man's superhuman strength to Brock's vast human strength, enabling him to lift over 70 tons. However, this is not his true limit as his strength increases with his variable muscle mass. Superhuman durability. Anti-Venom's body is highly resistant to physical injury, capable of withstanding assault from high-caliber bullets as well as attacks from super-powered individuals. When distributed at a typical thickness over Brock's body, the symbiote is capable of absorbing bullets from small arm weapons firing conventional ammunition. The anti-venom symbiote is invulnerable to the traditional weaknesses of symbiotes, fire, and sonics. However, it particularly vulnerable to a poison Osborn made using the Freak, and its abilities can be negated by Mr. Negative's Dark Force powers. Superhuman stamina. Anti-venom is also capable of surviving in harmful areas for long periods of time such as underwater or in toxic gases, the symbiote filtering breathable air to the host. Accelerated healing factor. Additionally, the symbiote is capable of healing injuries in the host at a faster rate than normal human healing allows. The symbiote is also capable of healing injuries and illnesses that current human medical care cannot, such as cancer. This is even more advanced for anti-venom, allowing him to regenerate from a shotgun wound to the head in seconds. Genetic memory. The symbiote possesses some limited psychic ability, making it capable of obtaining information from its hosts and even other people and symbiotes simply by touch. It can, however, be forced to forget information if the symbiote is inflicted with heavy trauma. Offspring detection. The symbiote is also capable of psychically detecting its offspring, however with effort this ability can be blocked. Wall crawling. The symbiote is capable of Spider-Man's ability to cling to walls by controlling the flux of interatomic attraction between molecular boundary layers. Webbing generation. Anti-venom can shoot strands of the alien substance. The symbiote's substance seems to be composed of tough, flexible fibers of organic polymers, which regenerate swiftly after shedding. The one limitation to this ability was used to Spider-Man's advantage during their second bout, since the webbing itself comprises the costume. If anti-venom generates too much, he will be left vulnerable as the symbiote is weakened and unable to replenish his lost mass for a short period of time. In addition to creating webbing, Brock can use the symbiote in the form of tentacles or tendrils to attack or ensnare his opponents. Constituent matter generation. Anti-venom can also use the same substance comprising the symbiote in the form of constituent white matter or tentacles, and uses it in this method for lethal force against criminals. Anti-venom can send a part of the symbiote and direct its movements into a victim's body, smothering them from the inside. ESP, Spider Sense. Anti-venom also possesses an extrasensory ability similar to Spider-Man's Spider Sense. This response is not as complicated as Spider-Man's inherent sense, since the symbiote can detect danger from every direction and conduct, giving Brock in plenty of time. It's a lot more efficient than Spider-Man's Spider Sense because it takes less time to sense the danger, and Brock's reflexes are faster than Spider-Man's, because they are enhanced by the symbiote. For instance, anti-venom can dodge a gunshot or a barrage of bullets. Immunity to Spider-Man's Spider Sense. Due to Spider-Man was a host of the Venom symbiote, and as a result his offspring is able to bypass Spider-Man's Spider Sense. As such, anti-venom is capable of attacking Spider-Man without alerting him, making anti-venom a deadly foe. Camouflage capabilities. The symbiote is capable of mimicking the appearance of any form of clothing, camouflaging with its surroundings, and even mimicking other people. Brock's preferred form of clothing was a white shirt, jacket, and pants. Stretching and deforming. Anti-venom can stretch and deform his body and increase his size. External symbiote rejection. Upon being assaulted by Mac Gargan, the Venom symbiote attempts to leave Gargan to bond with Brock again. However, Brock's skin is caustic to his former symbiote, which means the white symbiote has the ability to reject the Venom symbiote and presumably all of its children as well. However, it was later revealed that, if Eddie releases too many antibodies while curing people, it is possible for this power to be weakened and another symbiote can bond with him, as the Venom symbiote did for a while. Constituent matter manipulation. Anti-venom can manipulate his matter to enlarge or stretch his body in order to augment his attacks. For example, he enlarged his fist and slammed it into Mac Gargan, creating more of an impact. Anti-venom also can morph his hands into blades similar to his nephew Carnage, and he can create a shield. Impurity sense. Anti-venom can sense foreign substances within a person's body, which includes symbiotes, radiation, narcotics, viruses, and other diseases. Internal bodily cleansing. After sensing an impurity such as toxins, drugs, diseases, and other malignant substances, anti-venom can forcefully cure the substance from the person's body using antibodies produced by the symbiote. Eddie Brock uses this ability to almost completely destroy his old symbiote and to cure a teenaged girl from her heroin addiction. This power can also be used to depower some superhumans, almost ridding Spider-Man of the radiation in his blood when attempting to destroy remnants of the Venom symbiote, and nearly cleanses Radioactive Man of his powers in a similar fashion. Following Anti-Venom's use of this ability on him, close proximity to the symbiote causes Spider-Man's powers to diminish and disappear. Spider Power Negation. After attempting to cleanse Spider-Man of his symbiote remnants and nearly purging the radiation from his blood, Whenever anti-venom is too close to Peter, his powers are effectively cancelled until Eddie becomes distant enough from him. Alternatively, when anti-venom ensnares Spider-Man by binding with the bits of the suit that is fired off as webbing, it also negates Spider-Man's powers until Spider-Man breaks free from it. Fire immunity. In contrast to the other symbiotes, anti-venom is immune to fire and extreme heat. Examples of this includes withstanding the full force of one of the Punisher's flamethrowers and a super-hot radioactive blast from Radioactive Man meant to immobilize Venom if he went out of control. Sonic immunity. Besides immunity to fire and heat, anti-venom also shows strong resistance against sonic-based attacks. For example, he was capable of withstanding Songbird's sonic blast with little discomfort. Abilities. The symbiote produces antibodies that can cure a person afflicted by radioactivity, parasites, diseases, and drugs. Strength level. Brock as anti-venom is capable of lifting 70 tons in his regular size, but this is not his true limit as his strength increases with his size and variable muscle mass. Weaknesses. The symbiote is extremely vulnerable to a poison made by Norman Osborn using the Freak and Mr. Negative's Dark Force powers. The poison destroys the symbiote for a while, and Mr. Negative's powers halt the symbiote's healing powers until his dark energy is no longer in contact with the symbiote. Furthermore, overuse of the symbiote's healing abilities weakens it to the point where it can potentially be overwhelmed and destroyed by another symbiote.